Chosen one. I have chosen someone for you. Their name is already written into the path I have laid beneath your feet. You have not seen it yet, but your spirit has begun to sense it. There is a reason your heart has been restless in ways you could not explain. There is a reason certain prayers kept rising from a place deeper than your thoughts could reach. I was stirring something. I was preparing you. Do not turn away from what I am about to speak into your life. This is not a passing moment. It is not something you will hear again in this same way. I am drawing near to you now because you are standing at the edge of a doorway that has been forming long before you noticed it. What waits on the other side is real. What waits on the other side carries weight, and it has your name on it as much as it has theirs. I know you have wondered. I know the silence in your nights has sometimes felt heavier than you let anyone see. You have carried questions about whether a lasting connection would ever find its way to you, or whether you would always be the one left standing on the outside of something you longed for. I have not been absent from those moments. I was present in every one of them, and I was already building the answer even while you were still forming the question. The person I am speaking of is not a stranger to my plan. They are not someone who wandered into your future by accident. I placed them in the design of your life long before either of you understood it. And when your paths cross, there will be something inside you that knows, something quiet, something certain, something that does not need to shout to be believed. It will rise in your chest like a breath you did not know you were holding, and the release of it will feel like the most natural thing you have ever experienced. Declare your faith now if this word has reached your spirit. You may have wondered why certain things did not work out. I want you to hear this clearly. Those endings were not punishments. They were protections. I closed those doors because what stood behind them would not have held you the way you needed to be held. I did not remove those connections to leave you empty. I removed them to make room. And now that room is being filled not with something fragile, not with something uncertain, but with something that has been tested in my hands before it ever reaches yours. This person has walked through their own fires. They have carried their own questions, and the very things that shape them are the things that will allow them to meet you where you are without flinching, without turning away. I did not design this connection for comfort alone. I designed it for purpose. When you stand together, something will shift, not just in your heart, but in the direction of your life. You will look back at the roads you have walked, the valleys you thought would break you, and you will see a line that runs through all of it, a single thread pulling you toward this very moment. This is not something I do lightly. I do not arrange lives on a whim. Every encounter, every loss, every season of quiet endurance has been a brushstroke on a larger work. And now that work is nearing completion, not the end of your story, but the beginning of a chapter that will redefine the ones before it. I know your instinct may be to guard yourself. I know that trust does not come easily after what you have carried. But hear me when I say this. What I am bringing to you now is not built from the same materials that failed you before. This is different ground, and the foundation has already been tested. Stay with me. There is more I need to say to you. And what comes next will settle things in your spirit that have been unsettled for far too long. The name that belongs to this person is not something you will need to chase. It will come to you, not with fear, but with a recognition so deep. It will feel as though you have always known it, even when your mind tells you otherwise. You have been asking for a sign. You have been whispering prayers into the dark, hoping something would answer back with clarity instead of silence. I am answering now, not all at once, because that is not how I work. I reveal things the way dawn breaks, gradually, gently, until what was hidden becomes impossible to miss. Do not rush ahead of what I am doing. Do not try to manufacture a result before the ground is ready. There is a difference between being eager and being impatient, and I need you on the side of trust. What is yours will not pass you by. I am guiding it directly to you, but the timing is mine, and the timing is precise. Before we continue deeper into this message, a quick note: if you would like to help keep this channel going, there is a link in the description and pinned in the comments. Completely optional. I have watched you move through seasons where you gave more than you received. I have seen how carefully you held on to hope, even when nothing around you seemed to justify it. That was not foolishness. That was the mark of a spirit that still believes despite everything, and that belief has not gone unnoticed. It has been weighed and it has been honored, and it is the very thing that has brought you here, to this exact place, where what I am building is about to become visible. So, listen closely. Let nothing around you pull your attention from what I am speaking. What I have set aside for you is already in motion, and the name attached to it is closer than you think. There is a reason I am not showing you the full picture all at once. If I laid everything before you in a single moment, you would try to control it. You would grip it with both hands and shape it according to your understanding. But your understanding, as honest as it may be, is still limited by what you have already lived through. I see further. I see the full arc of what this is meant to become, and I am asking you to walk with me into it one step at a time. This person I have chosen for your life is not walking the same road you have walked before. They carry something different, not in the way the world measures difference, but in the way your spirit will feel it. There will be a steadiness about them that does not waver when pressure comes, and that steadiness is not something they manufactured. It is something I built into them through everything they have endured. You will notice it in the way they speak to you, not loud, not performing, but measured and honest. You will notice it in how they hold space for your silence, without rushing to fill it, and you will notice it in the way your own breathing slows when you are near them, as though something inside you has finally been given permission to rest. That is not coincidence. That is design. I want you to understand something about the way I bring people together. I do not match surfaces. I do not pair what looks compatible on the outside and leave the inside to chance. I go deeper. I look at the fractures, the longings, the places where strength was forged through suffering, and I align those hidden contours with someone whose own shape fits the spaces you carry. This is why it will feel different. This is why it will feel right in a way nothing before it ever did. Say it aloud. Say, I believe. If your heart is receiving what I am telling you, there have been connections in your past that drained you. You gave freely, and what came back was silence or confusion or words that did not match actions. You learned to read people carefully because trust had cost you before. I watched that happen. I saw the walls go up. I did not condemn you for building them, but now I am asking you to let me walk through them, because what I am bringing requires an open gate, not a locked one. This does not mean you abandon wisdom. It means you allow trust to lead where fear once stood guard. I am not asking you to be reckless. I am asking you to be willing. There is a wide distance between the two, and I need you standing on the side of willingness. The gate does not need to swing wide open all at once. It simply needs to be unlocked, and my hand is already on the latch. The name that is approaching will arrive without force. You will not have to search for it. It will appear in your awareness the way a word surfaces when you have been trying to remember something for days, and then suddenly, without effort, it is there. That is how I move. I do not impose. I reveal, and what I reveal carries the weight of certainty, because it was never uncertain to begin with. Pay attention to what repeats. Pay attention to what keeps returning to your thoughts when you have not invited it. This is not your mind playing tricks. This is me pointing. I leave markers on your path the same way a river cuts marks into stone, not with violence, but with patience over time until the shape is unmistakable. You are closer to this than you think, and the distance between where you are and where this connection begins is not measured in months or years. It is measured in readiness. When your heart reaches the place I have been preparing it for, the door will open. not slowly, not halfway fully. There is something else I want to address, because I know it sits in the back of your mind even when you try to push it aside. You have wondered whether you deserve this. Taking a short pause here, if this message is helping you, consider leaving a tip on the link. It genuinely supports this channel and the mission to spread these seeds to other people. Link is in the description and the pinned comment below. You have someone like you could receive something this significant. I need you to hear me. Your past does not disqualify you. The mistakes you have made do not erase what I have written for your future. I do not hold those things over you. I have already released them. The question is whether you will release them too. Let go of the verdict you have placed on yourself. It does not carry my signature. I never wrote it, and it has no authority over what I am about to do in your life. You are worthy of this, not because you earned it, but because I declared it. And what I declared does not bend to the opinions of those who do not know the full story. This person will not come to you asking for proof of your worth. They will not weigh your past on a scale and decide whether you measure up. That is not how I designed them to see you. They will look at you the way I do, with understanding that goes beneath the surface, with a patience that does not flinch at what is honest and imperfect. And in that space between two people who are not pretending, something real will take root. I am telling you this now because the ground is almost ready. What has been tilled in secret is about to break through into the open. And when it does, I do not want you standing at a distance watching from a place of hesitation. I want you close. I want you present. I want you ready to receive it with open hands instead of folded arms. The time for standing back has ended. The time for stepping forward has arrived. You have spent long stretches of time making yourself smaller so that others could feel comfortable. You have bent your words, softened your needs, and swallowed your own voice to keep the peace in places that were never peaceful to begin with. I saw all of it. I saw the cost, and I am telling you now that the person I am bringing into your life will not require you to shrink. They will not ask you to hold back the fullness of who you are. They will not need you to perform a version of yourself that is easier to manage. When you speak, they will listen. When you are still, they will stay. That is what it looks like when I arrange a connection rather than leave it to chance. There is something in you that already recognizes this truth. You can feel it stirring beneath the doubt, beneath the questions, beneath the habit of guarding yourself from disappointment. That stirring is not anxiety. It is anticipation. My child, I am asking you to place a portion of what you have, something of real weight, upon the altar of this work, as gold laid on the scales of this calling. You will find that place through the link in the first comment or the description. Let what you bring there be a seed sown into deep water, an offering set on stone, not held back in fear. This is proof that your trust rests in my hand to provide, and that your heart no longer clings to lack. What you release in faith does not leave your life. It moves ahead of you into the harvest I am preparing. I have been working in places you could not see, behind the closed doors, beneath the failed conversations, within the silence that sometimes felt like abandonment. I was there. I was not standing idle. I was removing what needed to be removed and strengthening what needed to remain. Your life is not random. The people who left were not losses without logic. They were departures I permitted because their season was complete. And this new season, the one you are stepping into now, requires a different kind of foundation. It requires two people who have been refined rather than two people who have simply found each other by accident. That is the difference between what I build and what the world offers. What I build holds, what I build endures, and what I am building between you and this person is meant to last beyond the first season of difficulty, beyond the first disagreement, beyond the first moment when the initial wonder settles into the rhythm of daily life. You may feel a shift in the coming days. It may be subtle at first, a name that catches your attention, a face that stays in your memory longer than it should, a conversation that lingers hours after it ends. These are not distractions. These are markers. The link is in the description and the first comment below. I place them in your path so that when the full picture becomes clear, you will remember that I was pointing toward it all along. Do not dismiss what feels significant. Do not explain away the moments that make your spirit pause. Those pauses are not accidents. They are invitations to look closer, to listen more carefully, to pay attention in ways you have not been accustomed to paying attention. I am sharpening your awareness because what is coming requires you to recognize it when it arrives. And recognition requires a spirit that is awake, not dulled by distraction or clouded by cynicism. There is a difference between hoping for something and being positioned to receive it. Hope is important, but position is essential. I have been moving you into position without your awareness. The internal shifts you have experienced, the changing priorities, the fading interest in things that once consumed you, all of that is part of my repositioning. You are being aligned, and alignment is not comfortable. It requires the release of things you have held tightly. But what waits on the other side of that release is worth more than what you are being asked to let go. I promise you that, not with empty words, but with the full authority of everything I am, it will stand on its own. I know you are listening. I know something inside you has not moved from this moment. That is because this word was not meant to pass over you lightly. It was meant to land, and it has landed now. Hold on to it. Do not let the noise of tomorrow drown out what I have spoken to you here and now. The ground beneath your feet is shifting, and that is not cause for alarm. It is cause for readiness. When a field has been plowed and watered, the shift in the soil is not destruction. It is the beginning of growth. That is what is happening in your life right now. I have been turning the earth of your heart, breaking up the hard places, softening what had become rigid through disappointment. And now something new is pushing through. You cannot see the full shape of it yet, but you can feel the pressure of it rising. That quiet insistence that something is about to change, that is not wishful thinking, that is my hand at work beneath the surface. And I do not plant what I do not intend to bring to harvest. So stay anchored in what I have spoken. Let it hold you when the waiting feels long. Let it steady you when doubt tries to convince you that nothing is happening. Something is happening, and it is closer than the space between one breath and the next. There is also this. The person whose name is approaching has already been marked by my hand. They do not know the full scope of what I am doing, just as you do not know the full scope. But they have felt the same stirring. They have sensed that something is shifting in their own life, even if they cannot name it. Both of you are being drawn toward the same invisible center, and that center is my purpose for your lives together. My child, I need to speak to you about the weight of impatience, because it is one of the greatest enemies of what I am building. You have lived in a world that rewards speed. Everything around you moves quickly, and you have been trained to believe that if something does not happen fast, it is not happening at all. But I do not work on that timeline. My movements are deliberate. My arrangements are exact. And what I am setting in motion for you cannot be rushed without being reduced. When the name arrives, it will not come wrapped in urgency or panic. It will come wrapped in calm, and that calm will be your signal. When what I orchestrate reaches you, it comes without anxiety, embodying a peace and authenticity that differentiates it from fleeting excitement. Recognize that this connection is a steady partnership shaped over time, not an immediate merger. Initial differences signify individual journeys intertwining, requiring patience and honest exchange to foster growth. This relationship thrives on effort, not exhaustion. It is rooted in safety, devoid of past wounds and manipulations. This person will not seek to dominate, but will engage with their honesty, leading to mutual growth. Your past fears may resurface, but acknowledge them and release them. They are remnants of a closing chapter. I am reconstructing your internal trust, restoring the belief that you can be loved unconditionally. This preparation was foundational work, strategically designed for strength. What awaits is a quiet, enduring love, manifesting in everyday moments, proving itself amid challenges rather than through initial glamour. Stop using past experiences as benchmarks, as they do not dictate your future potential. You have evolved, emerging from trials stronger and clearer. This new connection will arrive unexpectedly but intuitively, requiring you to embrace it without over-analysis. Let understanding unfold organically over time. Sometimes connections form in layers, starting with recognition that what you have encountered holds significance. This awareness signifies that it was meant for you, orchestrated beyond your understanding. The process of becoming is ongoing for both you and the other person involved. Both have faced tests and proved faithful. The convergence of your paths will create a strong bond, more powerful than being alone. This relationship will require you to be fully present, shedding defenses, and simply being yourself. This vulnerability will lead to a freedom you will not want to lose. You are destined for a deep, genuine connection that does not rely on maintaining an image, offering acceptance instead. Past hardships have refined you into someone ready for this union, imparting resilience and discernment. This love will be constant, grounded in daily decisions rather than dramatic gestures. Both individuals are well prepared, and their recognition of each other will be instinctive. This partnership, however, extends beyond personal fulfillment. It influences those around you and creates a stable, real impact in your environment. Your shared purpose will resonate with the design placed within you, leaving a lasting legacy. Trust in this process. As the first step is the person being revealed to you, the anticipated moment is approaching, and you will recognize it instinctively as something for which you have been prepared. You have grappled with unanswered questions and unexpressed longings. I have heard and held them all as we near the end. Thank you for staying with this message. If you would like to support this channel, you can leave a tip on the link. The link is in the description and pinned in the comment. If this helped you, subscribing helps too. Either way, thank you for being here. Now, I begin to answer them with clarity and certainty. Every part of your journey connects beautifully. In uncertainty, they are essential to the process. You do not need perfect faith, just willingness to trust and believe in the truth of my promises. Your readiness to open the door is sufficient. I have been preparing this fulfillment all along, and it is closer than ever. Understand that everything I share is intentional. Your connection is no accident. It will not feel foreign but familiar, like a long-forgotten memory returning. Doubts may arise, but remember my words, they serve as a strong anchor amid turbulence. You will face moments of unbearable waiting and silence, yet know I am still at work. The upcoming connection will not erase your past, but redefine it positively. When it arrives, accept it without doubt, allowing it to settle deep within you. Trust the unfolding of what I have promised, step by step, knowing you are ready, even if it does not feel that way. Go forth in peace, confident that what I have set in motion remains unchanged, and trust that your intended partner is on their way.